Good evening. Will you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is going to be fun. Roll call, please.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Thank you. We did get a call from Rob Hawken to remove him from the agenda tonight, so I will need a motion to approve the amended agenda.
So moved.
Motion from Scharf, seconded by
Second.
Hayward. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Nothing on there? Okay, nothing for public comment. Okay, I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: the minutes of the March 26, 2018 regular meeting, city financial statements from the month of March, budgeted transfers for the month of March, fire department financials for the month of March, Las Gentas Corporation Class C commercial and Sunday sales liquor license, May 18th, 2018 through May 17th, 2019.
So moved. Second?
What did you say? Those were supposed to be April rather than March? Oh, the minutes are from April 26, okay. I'm sorry. Who made the motion? Hill, seconded by O'Laughlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
We did have one.
Was there one? She's,
Kim was hiding it.
is this something you want to do separate because you're on the agenda anyhow?
Yeah, this
Okay.
is separate.
Okay, we're going back to public comment. Thank you. Your name and address, please.
Leanne Harrison, 514 Fifth Avenue Southwest. And now that spring is here, I just wanted everybody out in TV land to know that the mill and the farmers market will be open starting on May 12th.
Okay. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Leah.
Next on the agenda is approval of the claims.
So moved.
Motion from Kurtz, seconded by
Second.
Hill. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you. Petitions from the public. Independence Police Department, Officer Lau.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Good.
As everybody knows, we got hit with some more snow, which was kind of uncharacteristic of April, especially that much. But lucky for me, I was on vacation where it was warm, but I still had to come back to it.
They were
But-
kind of slow getting the sidewalk cleaned off.
So now that everything's back in swing and we're getting some nicer weather, we'll be getting started on property cleanups. I've been responding to basically complaint basis as they've came in, even during the bad weather, as well as taking notes myself of properties that we need to be watching and ones that I'll be stopping at and communicating with here shortly. We have a property that we've been working the abatement process, and within the next probably week to 2 weeks here, we should have that property cleaned up. We went through the legal part of it now. Now it's just getting together with the street department, and finding out a day that's going to work for us, and we're going to get that property cleaned up in the northeast that we've had some issues with since late last fall. So other than that, anybody have anything, any questions, concerns, or?
I was just going to say, I think we're doing pretty good. We were at the meeting last Thursday night, and the League of Cities is putting on a nuisance abatement workshop, and it was filled before they could even hardly announce it. So they're thinking of doing a second one, so I know a lot of communities are struggling with this, so.
Yeah, I think everybody does, and everybody's looking for a solution to it. And, you know, a lot of your smaller communities, it's harder for them because they just don't have the resources of having somebody, you know, devoted to doing it and putting in the time and effort. You know, it's something that you can't just have somebody come in and work at 1 or 2 days a month. I mean, it's something that you have to have somebody back talking to the citizens and communicating and be there for when they have questions and stuff. So for that, we're pretty fortunate that we have that capability here.
Will we be getting the flyer out soon about citywide cleanup?
The citywide cleanup, the dates have been set. We're working on one final piece for specifically electronics recycling, primarily due to the fact that Treniers does not have the staffing to do it, and the alternative right now looks very, very expensive. So we're trying to evaluate the benefit of the electronics recycling. Everything else is set and ready to go.
Are we gonna do everything the same day this year? Are we gonna do 2 days like we did last year?
Everything is same day. Everything is Saturday, June 9th from 7 to noon.
7 to noon is all?
7 to noon, and we have tires at Cy and Charlie's. We have the recycling at River's Edge parking lot for metals. And again, the big issue is the electronic recycling, and that's going to be fairly pricey.
The shred thing is a different date though, isn't it? Because that's
The
done.
shred is the same day.
Oh,
They
is
were
it
able to
same
move
day?
the
Okay.
community-wide shred that the library does in partnership with Bank Iowa to June 9th, so they've got that all at the same time this year.
Great.
You know, still be one pickup or trailer up to,
Correct. One pickup per trailer per household, and tires, I think
Seven.
we're limited to,
It's 12 per household, and it's also 8 to noon. It's not 7 to noon.
tires are 8 to noon?
Yes.
I want to thank you, Brian, for getting back at me. I didn't realize you're on vacation, but will you let me know when you come out with a solution or whatever?
Yeah,
you come
I
up-
actually talked to Wes, one of their managers, plant managers today.
Okay.
About it, and he said he was gonna have somebody get out there to try to get that tree trimmed. And then he was gonna look at getting a different placement for that sign. I gave him some suggestions and told him just to give us a call if they have questions, and I'll come over and kind of show him where he can put that sign. It'd be a little bit better for visibility.
Okay,
Because they got that great big green utility box that sits there too.
Right.
I mean, if they had it even right in front of that, because, you know, then you're not still blocking any additional view from that corner, so. But we'll see if they call, but he assured me they're gonna try to get that taken care of.
all right, because in the past, they got, they did that tree and everything, but that was before they put that sign, but,
Yeah.
so thank you for going down.
But yeah, that tree, those lower branches were kind of starting to hang again, looking to the.
To the
back
left,
west, yeah,
right, mhm.
yep,
Thank you.
yep.
Do you know Alta do the same thing with tires last year? It wasn't put out there, but when we took tires to Cy and Charlie's, one tire would count as 2 if it had rim.
if it had the rim on it.
That would be 2 tires.
Right.
They're still gonna do that?
Yeah.
So that's where for people to get rid of some tires with rims, because I don't know that we got a lot of those picked up.
Okay, yeah, the rims are somewhat problematic, for them to take them in. If it's just bringing the tire in, they throw them in the recycled truck, it's pretty simple. I think it's $3 a tire that we pay for that. And, but the rims, again, then they have to go in and take them off the rim and go through that, and then dispose of the rim.
And once we get that finalized and we get a sheet done for that, that'll be helpful too, because then I can be handing those sheets out too while I'm talking to people and just kind of get the community involved and let them know what's going on. So that way, hopefully, we get another good year of cleanup.
Right.
Will that be on the city website, Al, the details of this as far as?
Yes, we'll put it on the Facebook page, it'll be the police department's Facebook page, we'll have it on our website. I'm sure our newspapers will help us broadcast that as well, so.
Have a good evening.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Brian.
Brian.
Thank you, Brian. Next on the agenda is Buchanan County Historical Society Annual Cemetery Tour.
Leanne Harrison, 514 Fifth Avenue Southwest. This is our 8th annual Oakwood Cemetery Tour, and every year we come and and ask permission to do this since it is a city-owned cemetery.
Anybody have any questions?
I'd make a motion to approve it.
Motion
Second.
by Kurt, second by Scharf. All
I-
those in favor
I
say aye.
have one comment.
okay.
On here on the, it says that the city has not received a certificate of liability insurance naming the city.
Yeah, we will want to, we'll work with Leanne.
Okay.
We've worked with them in the past. I just want to make sure that, when I wrote these notes, I hadn't had a chance to visit with Leanne because I was out of town. I
Okay.
apologize, Leanne, because I hadn't talked to you.
Right, our insurance is Brown Lane, and they always send one to you, so,
No
So,
problem.
yep.
but, and that's more because I was out of town. I want to make sure the council knew that I haven't talked to you, Leanne, and I haven't had a chance to see that, so I wanted to make sure everybody's on the same page.
That's fine.
Just for information, they do an outstanding job giving the tour. I learned a lot. It's the first time I did it last year, and it's really fun listening to the reenactors and everything telling about their life stories. It's quite good, and thank you guys for doing that.
We have 3 tour guides, and then there are several that are reenactors that will reenact the person at the gravesite. And so every year, then we also donate to the city for their records. And so this is your booklet for the year.
You do a good job of conjuring the spirits up. As long as they go back.
One of our celebrate the spirit.
Okay, I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you, Leanne. Next on the agenda, Independence Chamber of Commerce Friday Night Live request.
My name is Christian Luce. I'm the Executive Director of the Independence Area Chamber of Commerce, 112 First Street East, and it's hard to believe that it's been a whole year since I was before you to get permission for last year's Friday Night Live series, and we're here again this year for the 11th annual.
You're gonna do two this year?
We're trying to this year. Last May's was a little bit difficult to coordinate because it seemed like everyone was either planning a graduation party or attending one. So we're going to try 2 this year.
Okay.
And I have not had a chance to visit with Captain Brinkema. Have you had a chance to sit and visit with him about the events as well as Mr. Donnelly?
Actually, that was a new process to us this year.
Yeah, I would ask that, I recommend approval, but I do want it to be, coordinated with Captain Brinkema and Mr. Donnelly at the street department for anything that we have to do out there at the park to make sure it's successful for you.
That pretty much is sending them an email or calling them, or?
I think we want to have just a short sit-down, face-to-face, I think would take care of it. We need a certificate of insurance. We want to make sure we have all those things in place.
Well, for the first time, we were required to fill out a 4-page application, and we submitted that. And there's a section at the back that the department heads, I believe, complete and send back to you. Those applications, once we found out the process had changed on Monday of last week, we submitted those Wednesday afternoon. And I don't know if those have been transmitted to the appropriate department heads or not.
Okay. Again,
I think it
haven't
shows
seen it.
insurance on here.
And again, being out last week, I haven't had a chance to see that. I just want to make sure that when I wrote this, that, again, we're all on the same page and we're looking for the same information, so.
We do
So
have.
if Christian just calls Tim and Brian, get them together for
That, absolutely, that's,
half cookies and Tim will be there.
Yeah.
I'd make motion, we approve it.
I'll second.
Motion by Hill, second by O'Laughlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next I need a motion to approve the Dash of Hope to be held Saturday, June 2nd, 2017, beginning at 8 a.m. the route and request for closing and restricting traffic and no parking on certain streets relating to Chapter 69 parking regulations, Section 6906 parking prohibited, Chapter 60 administrations, Section 60.08 parades regulation, and Chapter 42 public and private property, Section 42.08 fundraising. And we do have someone here if you would like to hear more about it.
Thank you. Brian White, 700 Pine Drive. This is going to be our 8th year that we've been doing the 5K, and we've had very good support from all of you, and as well as the department heads and their staff. Over the last 8 years, we've raised a little over $14,000. We've had very good turnout. A lot of that has to do, we've been very fortunate with weather, but at the same time, we're very fortunate the strong support the community has for the 5K, as well as everybody on the city council. So we appreciate your consideration.
You have that worked out with the police where you cross the,
We typically cross right there at 1st and 4th, and then 1st and 6th, and we're usually pretty good about coordinating, getting on their schedule. We'll have a chat a couple weeks ahead of time just to, as a courtesy, and they're usually pretty good about being there and vigilant.
Brian has reviewed this, and he commented that everything is in order, and it hasn't been an issue in the past, and he's ready to go.
I'd make a motion, we approve it.
Motion by O'Laughlin, seconded by Scharf. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Brian.
Yeah, we're supposed to sign up and do that walk or run now.
would you say something down there, Mike?
Is that right, Brian?
Okay, next on the agenda is resolution. Motion to approve a resolution authorizing and approving a certain loan agreement providing for the issuance of $2,700,000 general obligation purpose bonds, Series 2018, and providing for the levy of taxes to pay the same.
So moved.
Motion by Hill,
Second.
second by Hayward. Need a roll call on this one.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next, I need a motion to approve replacing and repealing a resolution authorizing the preparation and recording of necessary transactions. The sewer sinking fund.
This resolution replaces a previous resolution that was put into place, setting the dollar amount for zeroing out our sinking fund for the sewer revenue bond. The numbers are different, so we're updating that so that the state auditors know that you've approved the exact dollar amount that we are transferring out of that sinking fund and into a debt service fund so we can pay that. And it ties back into that sewer revenue bond that we refunded, lowered our interest rate, and we had $220,000 or $250,000 in there that we were required by the previous revenue bond to maintain. Well, that number has changed as we've gone through the refunding portion of it, and this corrects that.
So moved.
Motion by Hill, seconded by
Second.
Scharf. Roll call.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next, I need a motion to approve a resolution assessing the property at 116 Second Avenue Northeast for water service repairs.
I'd like to comment on the condition of the building, too. I'm afraid we're going, with the high winds and stuff, we're going to have either damage or injuries because of the condition of the front of the building.
Doug has been in it.
Okay, I gotta know which building we're talking about.
Malik Theater.
Malik Theater.
Yeah.
The last time I was down there and took a look at it, there's really no problems with the marquee, but I will certainly stop and take a look at it again if you think there's,
Yeah, but looking at that facade, I mean, when it blew one side off already, which means that's exposed from a north wind and stuff, but I don't know, it concerns me. I don't even park on that side if I don't.
Okay,
have to.
I'm sorry, but I'll stop.
Yeah, or walk under it.
Stop in the morning and take a look at it.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not worried about the whole thing coming down, but I can see what you're saying about it.
Yeah.
I will definitely take a
Yeah.
look at it.
Is there a way, kind of asking city attorney, I mean, I'm not talking about taking the building down, but that marquee with just half of it up there is pretty unsightly, and from the sounds of it, I don't think there's gonna be a lot of work done on that building in any time in the near future. Can we request to just have that taken down for an eyesore?
I'm not familiar with the property or the situation.
Isn't that
Anyone wants to-
marquee part of the structure of the building?
Well, the fascia of it isn't, but
No.
marquee
Not the
itself
marquee
is all.
itself.
I'll
All you could take off would be the tin work.
Okay, I've got some pictures going to him anyway. I'll get some good pictures of that and send them along with it, because he's working on some other property for us.
Sure.
Okay.
It's kind of an old-time theater sign that comes out over the sidewalk, and a couple of years ago, the
North side.
north side all blew off, and now you just got the girder system inside showing on the north side. And
Okay, yeah, we'll take a look and recommend a course of action.
it just seems like we've done so much work downtown, and it just is really pretty unsightly right there.
The challenge with this assessment is there was a water line break internal to the building. It filled the basement to the point where there was water seeping into adjacent property, so the city had to get involved. We did bring in Chick-fil-A Construction to help pump out the basement, fix the water break for them. But it is all service line work, it is all the property owner's responsibility. At this point, we have paid Chick-fil-A, but it does fall back on the property owner, and we need your blessing to assess it back to the property.
How much is it? 2,900 and something. 29?
I'd make the motion to assess it to the property owner.
Okay, motion by O'Laughlin, seconded by,
I'll second it.
I agree with that,
Kurt?
being the property owner's responsibility, but had they checked all that stuff out, it wouldn't have made any difference on it breaking. It still would have broke it. Still would have filled full of water, but that shut-off valve, they waited up there for 2 days to get that, and they never did get that shut-off valve shut off. And I was under the understanding they was supposed to check all the plumbing underneath that sidewalk before they put the new sidewalk on there. And if they had done that, I think that valve should have probably been replaced. Now, it wouldn't have changed the outcome of it, but, except we could have got this done about 2 days quicker.
I guess I don't know that I am tracking with you on that, because if I understand it right, that valve is in the sidewalk, or is it in the sidewalk?
On the sidewalk.
Because the pipe coming in, where it rusted out or where it rotted out, was inside.
Right, it wouldn't have changed the outcome, but they could have got it shut off out a lot, 2 days earlier, just, they never have got it shut off, to my knowledge.
And that's possible.
Okay, I just want to throw that in there. But he probably is liable for it. Wouldn't, like I said, it wouldn't have changed the outcome anyhow.
okay, I have a motion and a second to approve a resolution assessing the property at 116 Second Avenue Northeast for water service repairs. All those oh no, we need a roll call, sorry.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Okay. Just lost my section. Under hearings and ordinances?
Yes.
Okay. Fiscal year, I need a motion to set the date of public hearing for May 14th, 2018 at 6:30 PM in City Hall Council Chambers for the approval of the fiscal year 2018 budget amendments and budget transactions.
This is a second budget amendment driven primarily by the refinancing of the sewer revenue bond. The fact that we paid out a much larger amount in debt service than was originally budgeted, we do have to amend that amount. With that in mind, we have other projects that are in there that are included in that budget amendment. Gina has given you a fairly detailed listing of the specific budget amendments and the line item recommendations before and after the budget amendment. This simply sets the date for the public hearing on the budget amendment.
So moved.
Motion by Hill,
Second.
second by Kurtz. Roll call, please.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Next is public hearing on the amendment of ordinance section 65.02, stops required. I need a motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by O'Laughlin, seconded by
Second.
Scharf. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Now I need a motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
second by O'Laughlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are in public hearing. We didn't have any oral comments or
Not to my
written
knowledge,
comments?
no.
Okay.
This eliminates two stop signs on 7th Avenue Southeast, in front of the old pool. It's a T intersection, so the through street would have the stop signs removed. It also adds stop signs in, I think it's 5 locations in Old Subdivision. Currently, there are no traffic control devices there at all, including the street, the new street coming out onto Lover's Lane, and there should be a stop sign there. This is the first reading of the ordinance, removing those two and adding the stop signs in Old Subdivision.
We need a motion.
Not yet, till,
I'll
unless
make
there's
a
any more
motion.
discussion, then we can go out of public hearing. Is there anybody out there that needed to talk on this issue? Okay. If you guys are done, then we'll need a motion to close the hearing and receive and file oral and written comments.
So moved.
Motion by Kurtz, second by Vaughn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. And I need a motion to receive, file, and consider adopting the ordinance for the first time.
Clarification here, can we request that we waive the third reading on this?
Second and third.
No, that just, I don't
Does
know
that
if
have
that
to be
needs
in
to
two
be
different
added to
motions?
this, or?
That would be after your first reading.
We have to do the first one first, and then you can make a motion to waive the second and third, so that they can go ahead and get those signs down and up both. So,
I think Danny got,
did I don't have a motion for the first reading,
No, not yet.
first time. So I need a motion to receive, file, and consider adopting the ordinance for the first time.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf, seconded by
Danny.
Vaughn. Roll call, please.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Now, if you would like to waive the second and third reading so this can go into effect, you can make that
We
motion.
don't think we can't waive the second, can we?
Yes. The way that they have it, based on the other city attorney's advice.
I'll chime in if I don't agree.
He didn't
She
chime
is-
in, so.
She's got a motion to waive the second reading, so you
Do we do one at a time?
would consider a motion to waive the second reading, then you have a motion to waive the third and final reading and adopt the ordinance on the final reading.
Okay, so first one is motion to waive the second reading.
I make motion, we waive the second reading.
I'll second it.
Motion by Hill, second by Scharf. Roll call.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward.
Yes.
Thank you. That motion is carried. Now, if you wish, you can make a motion to waive the third reading and what was the rest of that?
Third and
you said?
final reading. And adopt the ordinance.
Okay.
If this don't pass, that'll be the second reading.
Do what? You're just trying to be difficult. Does anybody want to make?
I would
that?
make a motion to waive the third and final reading and adopt the ordinance.
Thank you.
I'd second it.
Motion from Kurtz, seconded by Scharf. Roll call, please.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Start taking down signs and putting signs up. New business. First on the agenda there is a motion to approve a tax abatement, 100% for 5 years, 70% for 5 years to Echo Development Tax Abatement Form Company.
Echo Development had originally requested a 93% abatement for 10 years. That did not have an overwhelming amount of support. In conversation with them, a 5-year 100%, 5-year 70% would be acceptable based on very general estimates based by Spear Financial, looking at what that impact would be. Our current consolidated tax levy of 39.29941, and looking at what the residential tax rate would be. This is a commercial project that is currently being rolled back to a residential rate, so that number changes a little bit during that 10-year period. Assuming no changes in assessed valuation, no changes in tax levy amounts, or the rollback by the state, which does change every year, they estimate that $1 million project would have a $214,000 impact over the 10 years. The project itself, now, I intentionally sized it at $1 million because we can scale that to the size of the project. They estimate that this will be approximately a $3.2 million project, best guess today. So if I use $3 million in their total project cost, their total benefit is $645,000 roughly, using this abatement process. There is no, I mean, they had talked about education and public safety. There is no way for me to ensure that an abatement of, I'll use 93%, would put money specifically into education and public safety. It simply means that there's a portion of the tax that is recognized, and it goes to all taxing entities across the board. The only other option that we would have available would be a payment in lieu of taxes through a development agreement, where we say specifically they would rebate or make a payment specifically to certain entities. It sounds really good. However, there is no teeth to that. There's no way that I can tell you with clear conscience that if they fall on difficult times financially, that they have to make that payment. If they skip a payment, there is really no recourse in Iowa code pertaining to payment in lieu of taxes. And my comfort level was very low in that being a viable solution, whereas the abatement process, when the taxes come due, they pay them, or we have a very clear set of criteria for addressing the non-payment of taxes. And so I think this is the most confidence I can give you that the money will come in for a project of this scale. It also, at this point, would drive the project forward.
So at 3.2 million, they must be doing 3?
Well, they're still working on 4. There's a question about 3 or 4, and about 10 days ago, they told me that they were looking at 3 because they didn't know if they could get the 4th one in there. As of this morning, they think they have the 4th one situated. Again, they're still working on that, but they think they've got the 4th building programmed in there. So as of this afternoon, they are still on 4. Now, if they do 3, it would be 3 12-unit apartments. If they do 4, there's 2 12s and 2 10s.
Well, again, at League of Cities, Part 3 training, Jeff Schott put on a presentation for, strategic planning for communities, and he stressed that adequate housing for people moving to the community is vital. And I think I shared with people, there was an article, at least an opinion article in the Des Moines Register that said that it's not that there's not jobs in rural communities, it's the fact that there's not quick available housing and amenities for people to move from places like Des Moines or Kansas City. But I really think we've done a good job with the amenities. I mean, I think we're second to none on a lot of our, but the housing is I think, a real issue that I know this is a little steep, but this kind of a project's not going to come around every day.
Just for perspective, and I understand this is on the total project cost, not just the infrastructure, but for a single-family housing projects, we do TIF rebates of 40% of the infrastructure costs. I mean, that's been our standard the last couple of years. This is 21.5%. Yes, total cost, but, those are pretty steep costs for the single-family projects as well, and rightfully so. I mean, I think we need to make the housing available, but this is not as far out there as what it might look like, standalone without looking at what we're doing for other housing projects.
I have a question on the impact for the city. Is that just from the abatement, or is that a net impact factoring in some kind of utilities and some of those ancillaries that we will pick up?
No, that's a really good point. This is strictly the tax impact. This does not look at franchise fees from utilities and services that we would still be selling. It does not look at any of those other benefits through the, light plant, telephone, and cable service, what have you. So it is strictly a tax estimate.
Okay.
I think the development, the valuation of it, when we do realize it 10 years down the road, what it'll do for our tax valuations is worth the positives.
Oh, yeah.
And the negatives are going to have to kind of work themselves out, but it's possibly $3 or $4 million project that we wouldn't get if we didn't do this, so.
And if we didn't get it, we'd be getting the exact same tax revenue 10 years from now that we're getting now.
Which is nothing.
Which is virtually nothing.
And just for clarification, the land tax that we currently receive, you cannot abate that. The land would be taxed under either scenario, whether we do the project or not. You'll get the land tax. So the abatement is on the improvements to the property that's there.
And I think the effect on the school, if you picked up 3 or 4, half a dozen families would move in out there, they're going to easily recover anything they're losing on this.
Yeah, really. But the second student they pick up would cover their annual loss. I think, what is it, $7,500 a student anymore that
Between 72 and 77, depending on what their weight is for, if it's any special education.
So, yeah, if they pick up a couple kids out of the deal, they'd be money ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think the bottom line is it's, as I think, John and Mike both said, right now, we don't get anything if they don't complete the project. We're not out. We only abate it if the project is completed.
Well, and the utilities are all there. We don't have any additional expense for infrastructure.
Well, I think you've come a long way, because when we first started, it was 10 years at 100%.
Yes, sir.
We've done a lot. It's changed drastically. I see no problem.
I would make a motion to approve this.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
There are 2 or 3 voices. Which one do I choose? Motion by Hayward, second by Kurtz. He was the loudest, I guess. Roll call, please.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the employee personnel policy. A motion to approve the City of Independence Handbook, replacing and repealing all prior versions effective May 6, 2018.
So moved.
Has this been approved by the Employee Relations Committee?
This was a product of the Employee Relations Committee. When we finished that, we did send it through the Attorney's Office for review and updated a few of those. So it's been through both of those reviews.
Okay, I'd second it.
Which one of you did I hear that motion from? O'Laughlin? Okay. Motion from O'Laughlin, seconded by
I'll second.
Hayward. Roll call, please.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next is Highway 20 sign and flag removal.
There was a question brought up about the flag that we have out by, and I don't know the name of the park.
Prairie Hills.
Prairie Hills, Triangle Park, and the electronic sign that for Works that is located out there. And so this is for discussion on what is the future of that. The flags are currently $310 a flag. Because of the size of the flag and the wind that's out there, we're finding calls for replacing that flag about every 8 weeks, 10 weeks if it's calm, because it does get pretty tattered. I will tell you, it's in pretty rough shape right now, and it's ready to be replaced. One flag has taken about 75% of our flag budget, and so it does put a bit of a burden on us to replacing that frequently. If you choose to keep it out there, then we accommodate accordingly. But with the sign not working, there is no way to revive the sign. It's outdated technology, outdated communication, and we have no way to use the sign or to repair it. And so the sign is also in question.
Well, it's got the old logo on it also.
Yes, it does.
Well, it's always kind of been an awkward place. You know, I've had people comment that the light isn't on a lot of the time, which, you know, it doesn't get flowing off mast out there.
You mean, you're talking about the flag?
The flag,
The whole thing's kind of high maintenance, really.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that brought this up to Al. I just thought, you know, the sign needs to go because it's outdated and doesn't work and there's no fix to it. And if we're gonna get rid of the sign, maybe we could eliminate the flagpole. You know, if eliminating it isn't the best answer, maybe replacing it, figuring out some way to shorten it and put it somewhere else or whatever. But it's, the wind out there, it just gets ripped to shreds and it's not financially a very good.
We've had that trouble from the start when we first put it out there,
Yeah,
Mike.
yeah.
It was,
I know.
it just, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a money eater since the day it went up.
Yes, it has. Maybe you could sell that pole. Like I say, Mike, we talked about it before cutting it down at one time because we were going through, they've been going through flags for a long time. It's not just lately.
No, it's, since the day it went up.
Right.
It's been kind of a little problematic.
Right.
Since we're talking about flags, how come we haven't had a flag up at the airport all winter?
I think it's a matter of getting it up.
Let's see.
I'll make a motion, we eliminate the sign and the flagpole out on Highway 20.
Second.
A motion by Hayward, second by Kurt. Any further discussion? Let's do a roll call on this.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yeah.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Okay, under reports, I have a proclamation for Municipal Clerks Week of May 6th through May 12th, 2018. Whereas the office of municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the officer of the municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local government bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community, whereas the municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meeting of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations, where it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the municipal clerk. Now, therefore, I, Bonita Davis, Mayor of Independence, do recognize the week of May 6th through May 12th, 2018 as the Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to municipal clerks Gina Lynch, Susie Lampy, and Amy Shear, and to all municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Dated this 23rd day of April, 2018. Give you a signed copy before we're done.
So move.
I don't think it needs a motion, but that's all right. Thank you.
Okay.
So, also under reports is the Highway 155-year plan. Something we need to discuss.
Just to preface, I'm the one that had this put on the agenda because I'm just hearing all kinds of rumors that we're gonna fill in the ditches, we're gonna put curb on, we're gonna do it on the east side, we're gonna do it on the west side, we're gonna do it this year, we're gonna do it next year. And the same way with the total redoing of 150, it's gonna be in 1920 or 2020 and 21, it's gonna be in 21 and 22. For the sake of clarification and stop the rumors, and I know with the DOT, it's a floating plan, probably at best, but if you could clarify as to the last best word as far as you know, that would be wonderful.
I thought Bob had a really good summary he put out. I don't know.
But I've heard some stuff since then.
Really?
And I'll try and simplify it as best I can. The 2 blocks of Highway 150 that are running east-west through the downtown are part of the First Street reconstruction. The city will be doing that in 2019. Just those 2 blocks that run east-west of Highway 150. With the DOT safety project that has been in the works for a couple of years now, they will be putting paved shoulders on the south portion of Highway 150, running from Enterprise Drive north to the campground, 8th Street Southeast. And those paved shoulders, where it's currently a dirt shoulder, once they put those on, they will also mill and overlay that section of highway. So there'll be a new asphalt overlay on that stretch. That's in 2018. As far as reconstruction goes, The DOT gave you the
Al,
option.
I think backing up, they are going to fill the ditches
Yeah.
on that paving,
No, let me get, to-
Asphalt.
yeah, let me get to that. That was,
Okay.
I think that's one of the clarifications. And I had the same question for them. When we had the option to do the overlay or the reconstruct, and at the last meeting, you opted to do the reconstruction. That gave the DOT the direction to program the dollars necessary to do reconstruction. We have to do the engineering, they pay for the construction. The earliest that they anticipate any reconstruction, major reconstruction of Highway 150 through town is 2022. Now, that has to be programmed, that's the earliest that they anticipate. It could be, you know, a year after that as well. But with that, if they do the reconstruction portion, which is what you opted to do, tied to that reconstruction, they would like to go back to segments of Highway 150 south of the bridge, where they have some very steep ditches, and put in fill the ditches in, put a storm drain in, and put some curb and gutter in there. But that would be tied directly to the reconstruction option that you selected for 2022 or later, not with the repaving. And again, for clarification, I had to go back and talk to the gentleman from DOT to straighten that out in my own mind, because I'd heard the same thing, Bob, that you did. It would be part of that overlay project. They wanted to do it yet this summer. That is not the case. They would want to tie it into the reconstruction. Now, that was the latest and greatest news that I have from DOT, always subject to change. When they say they're going to program it, that means that those funds are internally being competitively sought for several different projects around the state.
Now, does that, filling in the ditches, does that mean both ditches, the east and the west?
Well, there's a segment on east and on the west that they would look at filling in.
Okay.
And now, not all in the same place. To simplify it, it would be where you see the steepest ditch along each side. Those real steep ditches is what they're trying to address from a safety standpoint.
Was there any discussion of making it 3-lane from Fairway to Enterprise Drive?
There was discussion, mostly on our part.
I bet.
It was brought up, we had a very cordial conversation about it. I'm not gonna get your hopes up, I would say not likely, but they heard our request again, and as long as they're going to go through it, he was gracious enough to take my request and said he'd take it back. So I don't anticipate it, again, I don't wanna get anybody's hopes up, but they know we would like to see that turn lane in there, and we think that that would make quite a difference. The fact that we already have the traffic study done on 17th, which is the primary recipient of that turn lane traffic, that would help us, because we don't have to go through that process again. We already have all the traffic counts, we've got all the engineering information in front of them, we don't have to recreate that wheel. This gentleman wasn't aware of that until we had our conversation, so that might help us.
Okay.
I hope that clarifies it, and I know that there's a lot going on, there's a lot of talk and a lot of commotion about roads, and everybody's very anxious to get 150 reconstructed. I mean, that would be the biggest thing that we could do or hope for, so that's exciting. We just have to hurry up and wait right now. And if it changes, I'll bring it back to you.
And I'm sure it will.
Okay, are there any council committees that need to report anything? And any of you are on?
I'd
Nothing
like,
on the watershed or anything else?
on the Finance Committee, we talked about changing the time of our meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you very much.
That,
We would like to move the Finance Committee meetings, which the council set for 10 o'clock on the first Monday, to 8 o'clock on the first Monday.
that's self-serving for me, as I'll be working by, during the summer months anyway, and I can go in late if we have it at 8, but 10 o'clock kind of cuts into the middle.
Bonnie coming to those meetings?
Do what?
I said, are you coming to the?
I will not be coming at 8 o'clock. But that's all right. I don't need to be there. The council does.
I have no problem with it.
And who's the,
I don't have
I
a
don't
problem
either.
with it either. I don't.
does 8
Fine.
o'clock work for you?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so glad you guys are early birds. So you're removing that from 10 to 8, right?
Yes.
On the first Monday,
Thank you.
okay?
Do any other council members have any issues with them moving that?
And our Pathways Board did meet this month due to the wonderful snow. So we'll meet next month at regular meeting.
That doesn't, is your Pathways on a Monday, though? Monday morning?
Oh, it's on a, no, it's on a Wednesday
Okay.
at 9:30.
So that won't affect that for you? Nothing
And our
new with the watershed?
Watershed was canceled because of weather, so it's been rescheduled till in May. So we're going to meet May 8th, I believe it is.
Okay. Any others?
Watershed just froze up.
Then I'm going to go to our staff. Doug?
Okay, got a few things for you tonight. We've started the sidewalk program. The first letters are out, so we're working at that. I've been answering quite a few questions on that. We've got some nuisance property, one that John brought up that we're working on, and some other property that the same person owns. I've been with the lawyer. Letters have been sent to the party, so we're working at that. I've been out today and visited all the FEMA buyout property that the city leases back to people and checked them all, and they all seem to be in pretty good shape at this time. We'll keep an eye on that all summer to make sure they stay that way. And visiting with the mayor this morning, we've set the spring burn ordinance where people can burn their leaves and whatever. And that is May 4th through May 13th. So it includes 2 weekends, so that's when that will be. Other than that, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
Tim, you have anything?
First of all, winter's gone and spring's here.
Oh,
So we're
you
putting our
guarantee
piles
it?
of stuff away. I just want to let everybody know, down at the tree dump, the guy that does our grinding stuff, he has a new screener. So if the people look around, there's 3 different sizes of screenings now. There's real fine, medium, and larger stuff. So we're making 3 different piles down there for him. And this week will probably be our last week of trimming trees and stuff for the winter. Getting on where spring's coming, trees are budding out, so we're gonna move on. Let's start doing some cement work and stuff, so. But winter's gone, spring's here.
A lot of potholes you're going to have to fill now because winter's gone?
We started the Adopt the Pothole program again, and we have a lot of people calling, so, yeah.
Okay. That's their best bet, is just to call you?
They can call me, we've had a cruise out 2 or 3 different times, filling them, so, yep,
Okay, sounds great.
yep.
Thank you, Tim.
Tim, is there, on that First Street Bridge issue, where those keep reappearing on there, is there anything more permanent we can put into there other than the?
I was gonna talk to Iowa Wausau. They did Third Street Northeast for us last year. I was gonna have him come up and take a look at it, but Denny's in, I think, Nebraska right now or someplace, and have him look at it and see if he thinks that'd be a good prospect for that, because like I say, they just keep reappearing. But we're gonna have to look into probably a whole deck cover of that. And it might be a good time when we do First Street, and do the Main Street, do that at the same time, redo that whole deck on there.
That Third Street seemed to hold up pretty good over the winter.
It did, yep, it has. Yep, but we do have a stormwater pipe on the northeast corner of that bridge that's about 18 feet in the ground that we're gonna have to figure out how to get down and get that patched. That's got a big crack in the pipe.
Can you get through there?
It'd be somebody smaller than me, Denny. I have pictures of it if you wanna take a look, that way you don't have to crawl down and look at it. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Dustin?
My weeks have finally started to calm down after the whole school event that we had. That took a lot of my time. We have calls coming in for Officer Isley, who is our ALICE trainer, to do different types of ALICE training or the active shooter training at different, not just the schools, but businesses as well, which we're happy to oblige to help out with that. Did have Officer Cornwell and Reserve Officer Wilson out here for the drone training that the fire department put on 2 weekends ago. They're the ones that volunteered to be a part of our drone flyers if we ever needed one for the police department, so they had a good time with that. Other than that, last time when we were here, 2 weeks ago, we had the big school event that I'm sure you guys are all aware of, that you've come across with. I was happy to be a part of that. The school started that situation, got a hold of me, and I was on board with it. So it's something that we're still looking forward to see how Travis took all the video and is working on a big collaboration of all of them to make a nice video for it, so we can have that. And hopefully I can get that soon sometime, because I'd like to see how it all comes together. I didn't get to see everything. I wasn't at school when things happened. I was at the fairgrounds when most of that happened, but I was also running other stuff, so I didn't get to see it all. I heard a lot of it, but didn't get to see all of it, so I really want to see how it all turned out. So I'm excited for that one, so. But have heard a lot of good things about the event. Only one person that made a complaint on it that I know of, and we'll get that, but we've had a lot of good things, even students being really appreciative of having the event done in their school. So a lot of the parents are in favor of it, so.
And that was collaboration for several departments, wasn't it?
Yes, it was emergency management, it was the fire department, it was the police department, it was the ambulance service. We had both funeral homes there. Air Care came out, the racetrack. So the Fair Board gave us the ability to do it out there. West Edge helped us with the vehicles. Hilltop donated the vehicles that were abandoned that they had. West Edge took the glass out of them so we could do it. The State Patrol came out to help us. The Sheriff's Department was also out there as well. Bill was there, the County Attorney's Office for the court case that we had. The churches that were involved all came through the school, so I don't know exactly who all was involved in that part. That was something that the school put together and asked for them to come out. So the funeral part I didn't have anything to do with. Most of the stuff that I did personally involving it was having the accident, the officers, the cars, stuff that we normally do on a daily basis, so that part. Then the court, getting the court people involved. Ben Lang was our magistrate, and our assistant county attorneys were actually the defense attorneys and the state attorney, so. Yes, there was quite a few people involved in that, and I gotta get with a meeting with Hupkey and Howard about getting thank yous out to everybody and what the next step is. We've had people that are not involved with it, didn't have kids there, but have heard about it and would like to see the recording of everything. We're not sure what we're gonna do with that yet, but depending on how everything turns out, so.
Is it something that could be shown then to other schools, that they could
Possibly.
learn from it without?
Possibly. All depends on how things come together. Not sure. There was, besides, the school had Travis McBride and another gentleman out recording. Charlie McCardle was out taking pictures. Our officers had their body cameras on. Also GoPros on. The fire department had stuff on. There was a drone up for a period of time, but there was some issues with that, so I don't know how much of what it got of what. So we have a lot of recordings that Travis now all has, and he has to make sure he finds the right ones to put in for everything, so. Yeah, because it was a 2-day event. Literally, it took all day pulling the kids at the accident for one day. Second day was court, then the funeral, then we had a guest speaker. Then the speaking of the kids that were pulled out and so forth. So yeah, we have 2 days worth of stuff that they have to go through to create. So I don't know how he's gonna get it all put together. And I don't know when he does get it put together, how long of a video it's actually going to be.
Really?
Because there's a lot of stuff that's involved. So I had personally been a part of this when I was in high school, but as a student, now I'm on the other end of it, and it was a lot of work, but well worth it. So, I'm excited about it, and I'm happy that it went off very well. So,
Thank you.
Yep.
I don't think there's any other department heads. Okay. Deb, I'm going to start with you tonight.
The thing I got was the meeting that Bob and Carl and I went to on Thursday was very educational, and it really kind of showed that our town is on track with things. Everything talked about, we've highlighted with, you know, the apartments and jobs, and it was educational.
Good. Mike?
I have a little concern. For the last 2 or 3 weekends, I've had to take some cardboard out to our waste management recycling center, and it's always overflowing, and it's, I mean, I wish we could get a hold of the people and maybe come to some agreement about the day they pick it up, because all the ground around the dumpsters was also full of cardboard as well. So, you know, it's a very worthwhile program, but maybe it needs more maintenance than it's receiving at this time.
We do have a conversation about the possibility of having a remote site for recycling for cardboard someplace else in town in addition to that. But that'll be coming to the council committees and through the process here in the next month.
That might be beneficial.
A big part of it too is people don't break down their boxes, so it takes up a huge amount of room.
Yeah.
If you just flatten them out, you can get 5 times as much in them.
Oh, I think so too. I don't think the dumpsters would have been overflowing then.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was 2 weekends in a row, and then about 3 months ago, I saw it like that too, so.
But I think it's gotten worse since they cut the recycling back to once a week.
I think so too.
You know,
I don't know what prompted it, but it's certainly
Yeah,
gotten
once every
worse.
2 weeks.
I used to take cardboard up 2-3 times a week when they had the bar over here. It was never like it is now. The dumpsters are always half empty or empty.
That's all.
I noticed quite a mess there.
Carl?
I want to concur with Deb and when Bob and I and her went to that meeting. It was very good. Just to let you know out there, Jeff Schott let everybody know that Independence not once, twice, or 3 times don't have any concerns about money because we got it all.
We've got it all.
That's what he told everybody.
Had a guy come up and wanted a low-interest loan from us since Schott told him we had all this money.
That's all I have.
Okay. Bob?
And Jeff Schott is retiring now, so.
Again.
Again.
So, no, I don't have anything.
But he said Independence has all the money, so.
He kept going to different programs, and he said, he'd just been at our table, and we offered him to sit down. I don't know why anybody else did, but we did. And he got up and he'd go right away. Now, if you're looking for strategic plans and goal plans and stuff, and you're looking for monies, unlike Independence, then that was the first time. And then the second time, Bob gave him one of these. And by the third time, are you real?
We're doing something right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No, but I think he was complimenting Independence, from just he's been involved with the community and.
For a long time.
But it was pretty funny. We asked one guy to lend us their hat so we could pass the hat to pay some of our bills, but the guy wouldn't let me use his hat.
Dang it.
But we were very serious at this meeting.
Yeah, I can see that. Mike?
I don't think I have anything.
Okay. John?
I was approached by a citizen with concerns, safety concern. I passed it on to the mayor and Al. The driveway entering 3 Elms Road from Fairway, about installing a stop sign there, because people are just blindly pulling out, assuming that people are going to be turning into Fairway. And the golf season and the complex out there, a lot of those people are going straight east on 3 Elms. So he's going to reach out to Fairway on getting something done there, because I wasn't sure where do we need to proceed. But,
Oh, yeah.
We did reach out to Fairway locally and at corporate office, and they suggested they would have a response to us by tomorrow.
Great.
So,
Thank you.
And just for everybody's benefit, that is private property. So the city, you're doing an ordinance doesn't really pertain to private property. They would have to request it, and we'll work with Tim and the local store and their engineers at corporate to figure out how to get that done, but it has to be based on their action, not ours. So,
Legally, people have to stop there because they're leaving a private property going onto a street, right? So they have to stop and yield, but they don't always.
They have to follow the speed limit, too.
Oh, that's true,
Right,
too.
Dustin?
Yes. They have to yield upon entering a through highway or entering onto that road, but if there's nobody coming, don't have to worry about stopping at all. They don't have to hit their brakes. If they look both ways and nobody's there, they can just go. Or if they think they can make it, they can go. If they do get into an accident from pulling onto the road, it would be their fault because they pulled down without yielding, but yeah,
I'm not that brave. Okay.
yep.
Stop sign might be good.
I just had that today, only the person was in the middle of the road, so there was no place to turn right into Fairway.
Had that too.
Anything else, John?
That's all I have.
Okay. Danny?
Nothing.
Gina? Gina? You look different tonight. Susie, do you have anything to share?
No, I don't have anything, thank you.
I thought for sure you wanted to, just all kinds of stuff.
I thought you had color different.
Yeah, just a bit, a little darker.
We would like your feedback with the new branding project. There is an opportunity for you to have a logo shirt, a city logo shirt to wear for events. What we need from you is size and color, and if you would be gracious enough to get that information to myself or Susie. You've got the sheets in front of you. Just write your name on it and what you would like to have, and we'll get that taken care of for you.
You still have mine, Susie? I was in. You wrote it on a thing.
I did.
Yeah.
Why don't
Sounds
you?
like I'll have to get.
Why don't you redo it? I
Okay.
may have got it shuffled somewhere else.
Check.
So anyway, if you would fill that out for us, we'll get that taken care of.
Yeah, one question, and I didn't get to all the visioning meeting, but there were a lot of people there when you had your visioning program, which was great. But did they talk at all about, I don't know what you described, entrance signs or, I didn't know if that got brought up.
There is a group of folks that have an interest, and it would be a subgroup under one of the 5 categories that were brought in there. And I think that's a good point. Thank you to the community. I think we had in excess of 70 people participate for a 3-hour community visioning exercise the Wednesday before the snow. And I thought it was very high energy, very exciting time. We are in the process of bringing these community leaders, or the folks that stepped up to lead each of the aspects. We want to bring them back together, keep that energy going, and keep that process moving. So the entrance signs is part of, and will be part of, as a subset of one of those.
I would like them to know that I didn't make the whole meeting, and if the individual that used my name all night offended anyone, it wasn't me.
Will there be opportunities for us to get in on some of that?
Absolutely. The key to this is the city is not driving all of the community projects. The city, city council, city staff, our support for these, we want to help make this happen. But quite honestly, the community is the citizens of Independence. It's your community. We want you to be engaged in, as citizens, engaged in where the community is going. So as council members, absolutely, we had this discussion at our staff meeting this morning, but we are not the primary drivers. It is really the community driving where they want the community to go, and I think that's the strength of the program.
The 2 ladies that stayed at our house were very excited. They said that they hadn't seen the community people get as involved and have as many ideas. They were really enthused about the outcome.
Anything else?
I think that covers me.
I apologize for all my coughing tonight. I spent the last 9 days home sick with a severe sinus infection on antibiotics, but it's still hanging in there. So hopefully I didn't interrupt the meeting too bad. I will ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf, seconded by Bond. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are adjourned.
If you